Welcome to those who've attended today's webinar talking about Dragon Medical and key features that many folks miss who use Dragon. My name is Ray Kuhl. I'm president of PBSI. We work with hundreds of physicians and other providers who use Dragon Medical in their daily work. And we want to talk today about some of the key things that are really so critical to the productivity of Dragon. So we'll spend most of our time demonstrating, looking at key features and settings. We'll have a short conversation about training, what really works, why is it that some people don't use Dragon as effectively as others, and how much does the product cost and what's really the payback. So most of our time will be spent on key features. So many of you use Dragon Medical already. Some of you, this is your first view of this product. In the entire technology industry, this is my single favorite product. Dragon Medical is a fantastic tool, and it virtually never fails to succeed with a speaker's voice. So product is manufactured by a public company called Nuance. All over the world, they are the market leader. Hundreds of thousands of physicians in the US use Dragon, and many others around the world. PBSI's role as a Dragon authorized partner in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana is to help practices use Dragon effectively. So even if you've purchased Dragon somewhere else, you can come to us for training or support. We've learned a lot about how to make physician productivity improve. So we're going to begin demonstrating, and I just want to make note on your screen on the right-hand side, you see a picture of a microphone. So this is a power mic. This is the microphone preferred by 90-something% of all physicians and clinicians using Dragon, and there are good reasons for it. When I first encountered this, I thought, what, a $300 microphone? Why would you want that? But in fact, the reason that everyone uses it, because it's really excellent. So there are some other features that are important, but key I want to mention is this red button in the middle. That's how I'm going to turn Dragon on and off. I'm only going to use a select number of other buttons on the microphone, but the key is I'll be holding this in my left hand while my right hand is free to use my mouse and move about, which if, for those of you who are using an EHR, you understand that it's important to be able to navigate around on a screen while dictating. Okay, so with this understanding, we're using a power mic. It's also true you can use other microphones. You can use your iPhone, your Android as a microphone. You can use Bluetooth. Virtually any microphone can be used successfully with Dragon. So I'm just pointing out the particular features of why this is such a popular and important tool for folks. So what we're going to focus on are what are the key things that separate those who say, Dragon's okay, it works okay, from those who say, this is fantastic, I love it. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the use of templates. So in demonstrating, I could be demonstrating in any Windows software. I could be in Epic or your EHR or Microsoft Word. I'm going to be demonstrating inside of PBSI's EHR, and I'm going to go straight to a box that's a dictation spot for placing text. So this could be any field in your EHR, wherever you need to type a word or a phrase. Typically you use Dragon where you need to place more than 2 or 3 words because the convenience of just typing a couple of words is reasonable. So you're not trying to replace every single place you type, but you're trying to replace typing in any substance, virtually every place. So here we are in this box. On my screen, very small, on your lower right-hand corner of my screen, this little red box, that's Dragon. That's a picture of a microphone turned red, turning on its side. That's not listening to me. So in a moment, I'm going to press the button on my power mic, and that button will turn green. Dragon will be listening to me, and here's how it works. Patient is a 26-year-old male presenting today for lower back pain, period, new paragraph. Patient's BP today was 210/180, and it appears that the patient's heart is in need of a cardiac consult, comma, and particularly may want to review medication dosage, period, new paragraph. Okay, so far all I've done is speak some text, and you see that punctuation, clinical terms, Dragon gets it out of the box. It knows your specialties, so it immediately knows the context of the things that you're going to be speaking. Now I'm going to use a template. So this is the feature that is kind of building block number 1. Normal hypertension. New paragraph. Normal ROS. Select glands denied. Glands, colon, neck seemed tender, period. Need to schedule a consult for this patient with an ENT, period. Go to bottom. Okay, so what I've done is I've used a couple of templates. I used the name of a template, I called it up by its name. I used the name of a template, I called it up by its name. A template can be any set of text and graphics. So a template could be an entire letter with your letterhead in it, simply called my letter, and you call it up, and there it is on the screen. And so I used just some basic templates here, and I used the select command to choose some text and change it. So I'm going to go back and forth between PowerPoint and demonstrating just so it's clear the features that we're talking about. So we looked at templates. I did a short example of the select command. So here's one thing. It's a really key feature. The select command is how you change text. If you've ever heard anyone in the past say, well, editing it is where my problem is, learning to use the select command is really the key here. So two things. When you select a phrase, not a word. So if you try and select the word or the less you give it, the less likely you are to get a good match and a unique match. So select a phrase, and then timing, decide what you want to before selecting. So this is really straightforward, but I'll try and demonstrate why this is important. So many of us, I'm certainly guilty here, we go too fast, and we want to start speaking, and so I want to use the select command, so I'll say select, and then I'll look around on the screen, what was it that I wanted to fix? And by the time the pause between the word select and what I wanted to fix, Dragon has thought, well, that can't be the use of the select command, so I'll try and do that incorrectly first. Right now, I'll do it badly. Select. So it didn't know what to do, so it selected all. So if the proper is, I want to change the words, let's say, effects from Darvocet, or I just want to change the word Darvocet, but I'm not going to use that one word. I'm going to use the whole phrase. So I know what I'm going to select, so here's how I do it. Select effects from Darvocet, effects from Lipitor. So decide what you want to select. So a very short pause, select text, and it will find the text. It's a really, really key thing, and it works beautifully every time if you simply know those couple of basic things. Okay. Next field and next field defaults. So templates can include stopping points. So you can use the select command to change text, but a really helpful, I'm going to get rid of some of the things on my screen just so I don't fill it up, and I'm going to use a template that has one or more stopping points. So I'm going to use a therapy template. Okay, so what you see is the cursor has automatically gone to a place where there are brackets. You can't necessarily see that well, but the cursor has stopped there automatically, and then there's more places where there are brackets. Brackets are simply stopping places. That's a left bracket and a right bracket, and anytime Dragon sees a left and a right bracket, it knows that's a place to stop. So what I'm going to do is when I turn my microphone on, I'm going to speak and replace that bracket, and then I'm going to use a button to go to next field. So patient's condition today seemed without problems, period. Clear to auscultation bilaterally. Okay, so there were only a couple of stopping points, but if you get the idea, you could have an entire review of systems or whatever that it stops and goes from template spot to template spot and allows you to speak whatever you wish to. So it's the first step in avoiding over-structured templates. I'll do another short example here. Operative report. June 15th, 2016. Joe Smith. Lower back pain evaluation. After examining the patient, I determined that there was no problem that I could fix, period. That's because I'm not a physician. So you see how it works. So templates with stopping points are really key. So learn to simply use those and you'll really improve productivity. So a couple of other really key things here. Make that a shortcut. So many folks who are accustomed to dictation over the course of their career are thinking, well, the transcriptionist is going to do that, and we don't want to create our own templates. We want to tell the transcriptionist to create a template. But let's say I'm going to dictate something here. Plan of treatment, colon. At this point, comma, I gave the patient a course, scratch that. Plan of treatment, colon. I gave the patient a course of Medrol dose pack and gave the patient printed instructions how to use it in Prilosec to prevent stomach problems, period. I told the patient he can take this if he has a stomach problem and wait 1 week and then start the following medications, colon. Okay, so just a silly amount of text there, but let's say I dictated that and then I think, well, you know what, I'm going to dictate this again. I'm going to put a little stopping point there, and I'm going to put a stopping point here, and I've created now something that I want to reuse in the future. So I select this text, and I'm now going to use a feature called Make That a Shortcut. The idea here is you can crank out templates and you can create them on the fly. So this feature, Make That a Shortcut, I'm going to turn my microphone on and use it now. Make that a shortcut. Therapy treatment plan. Okay, so I'm stopping right now. So you see what I did is whatever was selected was automatically pulled into the content box. The cursor stopped in the command name box, and I gave it a name with my voice. And now I'm going to save this with my voice also. Click Save. So I've just created a new template called Therapy Treatment Plan. Now let me show you how that works. Today the patient was here and we exercised a therapy treatment plan and the patient was fine, period. New paragraph. Therapy treatment plan. So the words therapy treatment plan spoken in the course of a sentence with no pauses on either side, it knows it's simply a set of words. But with any significant pause, it knows that it's a therapy template, in which case then I can Darvocet, no other medications, and so forth. So really key, if you know that you can say, anytime you've just dictated something useful, say, make that a shortcut, create your own templates, really, really helpful thing. So the associated problem, and again, I'm just going to get rid of some text to leave me more room. The associated problem is you've created so many templates and you think, oh my gosh, I'm never going to remember all those template names. So another key feature, what can I say? If you remember, make that a shortcut and what can I say, you will really help your productivity with Dragon. So how does what can I say work? So I'm dictating and I think, oh, I have a template for this. What the heck did I call that? So I'm going to turn my microphone on. What can I say? And on the right-hand side of my screen, Dragon has displayed the list of all of the templates that I've ever created. And they don't have to have any particular word, like here's therapy template that we just created, or therapy treatment plan, or if I want to call it my post-op template or my normal thank you or whatever. Okay, thanks, I remember that now. So now I'm going to turn my microphone on and say standard follow-up. Normal thank you. New paragraph. My signature. So you can see how this works. I'm looking over here on the right-hand side and I'm seeing, oh, those are the names of the templates. And then while I'm turning my microphone on, I'm using the template names and filling in the blanks. So really, really helpful and very important. Okay, so another internet search. This is a feature that's been built into Dragon for some time. And I want to show you how this works. So you can use this while in the room with a patient or at any point in time, but you want to do some internet research, either to demonstrate something for a patient or to learn something on your own. So I'm going to use a search command built into Dragon, and it works like this. Search up to date for lower back pain. So what it just did, I said search up to date for lower back pain. It went out and it found that my default browser is Chrome. It knows the default browser on your PC is Internet Explorer or whatever. I said search up to date. It found the website up to date for lower back pain. It was if I had searched for that on the website, and here we are, all the choices available. So I can even make choices now with my mouse like this, or I can do this with my voice. Click treatment of persistent pain in older adults. And it did just what would have happened with my mouse. It made that click and it went to the selection. So The idea there is search website name for medical condition. You can say search WebMD for insomnia or whatever you want to. You can actually use this feature, search Google for restaurants near me. But clinically, it's a very interesting thing. So you've seen me use the click command more than once, and that's a feature where the Dragon can be used to execute commands. So what happens when I use the click command is it looks on my screen for things that might be a link or a button. So right now, I might say click home or click global or click key features that many Dragon Medical users fail to use, and it would try and click that instead of me needing to use my mouse. So the internet search and the click feature are two that are really useful. Okay, hidden mode. This is a gem that's really important. Some of you may use Dragon and have performance issues if you're connected through at a remote location or home. Usually this is not the case, but if you're using a connection through Citrix or terminal server, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, then forget it, it's not important. But if you do, you know this is really key. So there's a way you can completely solve performance issues by using hidden mode. So there's two applications for this. One is remote location access, and the other is for all of us. We want to move around in our chart, and we don't want to have to come back to the place where I want to place my text and go somewhere else, come back here, and go somewhere else and come back here. So I'm going to use this feature now. I'm going to turn on hidden mode, and basically what's going to happen is a box will pop up that will start accumulating the text that I speak, and it will keep accumulating it there until I come to wherever I want to and place it all in one place. So I'm turning on hidden mode with a button. So that's been pressed, and hidden mode or the dictation box has been activated. So now I'm going to move around in my chart, and I want to go look at some things for this patient. So get rid of this box here. I want to go and look at the lab summary for the patient. Patient's recent HDL trend has been low, and triglycerides have been high. This continues to be concerning, period. Need to discuss this with the patient on the next visit, period. Vitals history for the patient has been unremarkable. In reviewing last visit, we want to discuss whether weekly injections should continue, period. New paragraph. Okay, so now I've accumulated my text and I want to place it, so I can simply say transfer text. And everything that has been accumulated is placed there. So it's a feature that is basically a holding place, so you don't have to keep going someplace. Oh, I didn't turn my microphone off, so you see now it's getting my voice even though I had put my microphone down. So hidden mode or dictation box, that's the feature. Really, really useful. Okay. Last thing I'll really demonstrate is Dragon's really effective. It used to be very bad at this. You had to be very clear and concise. So I'm going to do a really poor job at dictation right now, and you'll see what Dragon produces. I'm going to turn my microphone on. The patient is here today for an exam, and I thought that the patient should probably be seen in the ER, period. So I have no idea how it does it, but you can see that amidst all of that garbage and pausing, and if I double say a word like I stutter or something, it tends to just do all of that perfect. It's not always perfect. It will not fix really, really terrible dictation, but a lot of it really, really will. So very important feature. Okay, I'm going to move on and talk about a couple of things now that are really key. One, network voice profile. And the network voice profile is something that is a really important feature. It doesn't come set up this way out of the box. Same thing with the power mic, by the way. Just a little bit of knowledge. We don't charge for this, but when you get a power mic, the main turn on and off button is set to push to talk. So I have to hold it down while I'm speaking. which some people like, but most people, I much prefer to turn it on with a button and then turn it off with the same button so I can tell it when to start and stop. And next field and previous field buttons in templates is the same way. Open dictation box and transfer text, same way. These are setup things that we do on the PowerMic. Takes 20 seconds for somebody who knows what they're doing, but otherwise somebody could use a PowerMic their entire career and think, man, this is really terrible. My thumb's so tired all the time for holding my button down. But the use of network voice profile is in this same category. So the voice profile is when I first trained Dragon, which now only takes 7 minutes, used to take an hour, and it learns how I speak, so it produces text. Then as time goes on, I train it. So I train it not to learn clinical things, because it already knows those, not to take normal, my speech patterns particularly, but I train it to spell Salim Bakali or West Chicago Medical Center, or things that it might not guess correctly. It'll do a pretty good job. It'll get Joe Smith and Sam Jones and those kinds of things, but there are some things it won't. So we recommend actually loading, and we'll do this for you, a text file of your referring physicians and maybe some patient names into your voice profile. So everything that it's learned is now in your voice profile. Well, your voice profile is stored where? By default, it's stored on your C drive. The problem there is many of us dictate from multiple places. We have a laptop, we have a home PC, we have a PC at our desk, maybe one in the hallway, maybe one in different exam rooms. And so if there's a voice profile on each C drive, oh my gosh, you'll never consolidate all of Dragon's learning. Simple solution, network voice profile. We put the voice profile, and there's no instructions about this. When you open up Dragon out of the box, you would not even know this feature exists. But again, just a little bit of knowledge. We put it in a network location so that when you load Dragon, it goes to the network location that would be somewhere in your office or on a shared network or even on a cloud server, and it finds your voice profile there and loads it. So the beauty of this is that whenever you finish using Dragon and it saves any changes that it's learned about your profile, it stores it on the network. It also stores it on your C drive. How's that helpful? You take your laptop home with you, you open up the laptop, you're not connected to your network, and Dragon sees that and it says, not connected to the network. Do you want to use the voice profile on your C drive? Yes, you do. So everything it's learned about you, it retains. Saves it when you're done. You go back into the office the next day, log into Dragon, and it says, I see a more recent version of your voice profile in your C drive than on your network. Do you want to use that? And if you say yes, it updates your network voice profile. So it takes it with you no matter where you go, always stays in sync. There's no cost for it. It's simply a little bit of knowledge, network voice profile. So some of the setup things here are key. Using an Android or an iPhone as a microphone works beautifully, but it's actually a little difficult to set up because you're expecting it to be Bluetooth or something. It's not. It's using your Wi-Fi network. So you have to be on the same Wi-Fi network. So again, just a little bit of knowledge. This is where folks like PBSI can really help you take advantage of setting things up for efficiency. So learn the features of Dragon, learn the setups. So this is something we do with physicians all over the place. So there are hundreds of physicians who got their Dragon Medical somewhere else and they come to us for training, and we're happy to help. Of course, we also discount the sale of Dragon, so you can't buy Dragon any place less expensively than you can buy it from PBSI. So it's kind of a win-win for everyone. So the last conversation here is about training. Why is it that some people succeed with Dragon and just rave about it, and some people say, yeah, I'm not really sure why everybody's so excited? Still in the box, I haven't loaded it, I tried it, I gave up, I never thought it was all that important. I know when I personally first loaded Dragon, this was my reaction. I didn't give up, but I thought, what's the big deal? Okay, it gets my voice all right. Of course, now this was several years ago. Dragon wasn't as good then as it is now. But it wasn't until I got with a trainer and they said, oh no, you don't understand, and they started showing me things like templates and make that a shortcut, and I realized, oh, okay. And then the more I learned about clinical dictation and documentation of clinical terms, I realized This makes some presumptions that you would never find with Siri or the free iPhone version of Dragon. The medical version is really fantastic. So what works? One-on-one on-site training. That's what we find. Trainer in your office, standing over your back, not like today where you're listening to me, but you have the microphone, trainer saying, okay, do this, in live clinical dictation. We find an hour of that with a trainer. It always goes well. 100% of the time, trainer comes back to PBSI and says, oh, that doctor's going to do great. We did some live dictation. Everything was good. Used to be when we only did one training session, with some frequency, we'd call the practice in a week or two and sometimes surprisingly get, well, no, actually the doctor's frustrated or hadn't been using it or whatever. So what's happened usually, almost always, human nature has intervened and simply went on with the way they knew to do things quickly and had some questions and just gave up. So two things. We always now include a support staff person in the training. So you have somebody in your clinical workflow who has seen this work and is there to answer questions, or call PBSI if you have a question. And then another is a second session. So the accountability of once you've had training, you're now making an agreement with the trainer. You're going to do this for at least 3 patients a day or at least a half-hour a day every day until the next scheduled training session 2 weeks later. So we don't care about selling training sessions. We just find that by human nature's norms that having this take place, the second session now is always, okay, so I've been doing well with this except for, tell me about this again and let me go over that with you again. And 2 sessions really works. So the accountability, big difference between training and training your voice. So you're going to spend some money on Dragon, invest a little bit in training, and it will really make a difference. Okay, so how much does Dragon cost? Cost of Dragon with a power mic, $1,899. We discount it for webinar attendees. So you can't buy Dragon on the web other than from an authorized reseller, and no one, including us, is allowed to advertise a price lower than $1,899. So you're going to pay the same price, but you're going to invest in a couple of training sessions. You're going to have some setup work done. In the next 5 years, you're going to buy an upgrade, or basic bottom line, per speaker, you're going to spend $3,000 over 5 years. So there aren't any monthly fees to use Dragon. So you figure $3,000 over 5 years, 60 months, you will have spent an average over that time of $50 a month. So compared to whatever you're doing now, whether it's dictation, transcription, typing, which is very expensive, very time-consuming, and very frustrating, the savings is not at all hard to see. So the question in most people's mind is, will it really work that well for me? And I want to tell you from our experience, it will. We never see a case where Dragon is installed and it's simply not working well for that doctor. It just doesn't happen. Dragon is that good. So I want to encourage you, if you have questions, let us know. We're happy to do training. If you're already on Dragon, we're happy to supply Dragon and training if you don't. But I want to encourage you, it's time to stop typing. And thank you for your attendance. And appreciate your time today. So hope everyone has an excellent day, and you can follow up as you wish.